What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Second Street Marvel. Here we are on another Wednesday after we watched another episode of Moon Knight. If you haven't watched the new episode of Moon Knight, I suggest you turn off this. You know what? Just turn down the stream. Go watch the show, and you can watch me and Chillmonger kind of flapping our gums in the background while you watch the show. And then you can turn up the volume and rewind once you get to the end of the show. But we are here to have a spoiler discussion with my very special and very patient guest, Chillmonger. How are you doing, my man?
I'm a little bit patient today. Yeah, I woke up on the right side of the bed, got to see some Moon Knight, and was in a very waiting mood. But it's 11:26 Eastern Standard, and I'm ready to chat some Moon Knight.
Yes. And in case you guys aren't already, go subscribe to Chillmonger's channel. There is a link down in the description of this video, or you can just go subscribe. Just go subscribe and check out his review that he dropped this morning of the show as well. But for those who haven't got to see it yet, what were your thoughts on episode 5 of Moon Knight?
Overall, my thoughts are, wow, this is so confusing, and what exactly is happening. But also, oh look, we got to see exactly how Moon Knight happened. We got to see the origins, and we got to see Stephen Grant. Good, but I also don't know what's real and what's fake. I cannot say for certain what's happening and why the hell is Arthur Harrow both a psychiatrist and the former avatar of freaking Khonshu and this like guy who's trying to bring back Amit. What? How could those things be happening right now? Why? Why? Explain. Marvel, do it, because I was mad when Quicksilver. Remember, Evan Peters was playing Ralph Boner.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that? Yeah, they could be doing the same with us. Like, how could Arthur Harrow be both?
Yeah, that's yeah, it's very very interesting what's going on in this show so far. Especially by the time we get into this. I thought this episode was really great, though. I kind of feel like this episode should have been episode 4 maybe. I feel like this should have been episode 4, but it certainly does
Mm.
beg a lot of questions, like you're saying, like with the Arthur Harrow thing, like I feel like there's just so much going on here, and I know we've kind of talked about this throughout the course of this season so far, and over the past few weeks, like what of this is real and what of it isn't, and I've kind of come to the conclusion that I think it's all real. I think all these things have happened, maybe just not in the way that we've seen them all. And then your question with the Arthur Harrow thing, it really does kind of it does bring up a lot of questions with that, like
Yeah.
just a lot of questions. Like, what is going on with this character?
And if they don't answer the question, well, they will. They've got to. Because even the Ralph Boner thing was answered as much as we dislike the answer. If they don't answer the question and they leave it up to us to like interpret why the same
Oh no, I think we disconnected. What happened?
I will
Oh, there we go.
go to YouTube.
There we
No, it
go.
looks like we're still live according to this, but there's a lag. But like, I will consider this a bad show if they don't explain to us who exactly Arthur Harrow is in both ways, like with the psychiatrist, or is he Amit, next Avatar?
Yeah. It's they've got to do something with that, and God, because it seems like that big reveal for it seems like that big reveal for like in WandaVision with Agatha Harkness came during what it was like the next to the last episode. It wasn't quite the very end where we learned all about her. And I kind of feel like this episode, like you're saying, we haven't really learned about Arthur Harrow, what he's doing, who he is. Um and I think this episode left us with a lot of questions again. But I think it will be kind of it will be a failure if they don't tell us exactly what's going on there with that character and what they're doing. And it is kind of a confusing mess for, I mean, probably for just just about anybody if we're even asking these questions.
Yeah, it's totally something that I didn't expect to see to have from the Moon Knight show. What I did expect, that's an awesome mug, the Thor hammer thing. Whoa. What I did expect from this is the explanation of Stephen Grant and the dissociative personality disorder. If you watched my review, which you did, I had a hard time saying that word, the dissociative personality disorder. But we got to the bottom of it, and he just when Mark is the real one. So good answer, Mark, real person. It's a theorized a couple of streams ago. Now I know it. Now I consider him the guy. And we got to see, damn, when his parents were gonna take his mom specifically was gonna get the beats on him. That's when he just goes, I am going to as a coping mechanism for some real stressful times. All right. I've never thought of that, but the way people's mental operate was featured here in a very tasteful manner. I don't look at this guy as like nuts or like the stigma with anyone dealing with a mental health crisis. I can see the reasoning for why he would kind of pack this all and store it on that side of his brain. Nope. Mom is real. Mom is not dead. and and let me just fast forward to the moment where he actually says it because the Arthur Harrow psychiatrist phones mom and all you can hear on the phone was do if you turn up the volume that's what it was. It was just a
Hmm.
dial tone. And he says, "Oh yeah, my mom is dead," which was a big moment and a great moment for what do you call the therapy sessions? Is there a specific word for it?
I think just
Therapy.
therapy. I
So
could be
those
wrong.
sessions, I just think like we saw a master's craft at his craft. If anyone's been in couples therapy, if anyone's been in any type of therapy right now in the live chat, let me know. But I feel like that's kind of the eureka moments that they advertise or what you think is going to happen at surgery, at therapy. And we got to see that now on a Marvel show. I commend that. Long answer. The mental health aspect of it was done tastefully.
Yes, and I'll be honest with you. Like some of the stuff that I was even looking at, like when they got into that, I was like, you know what? Like this actually really makes sense when they showed some of that because like there are times when I've been in situations where you kind of do that anyway. You kind of put up like mental blocks or whatnot, and kind of go to a different place. And I understand that, especially in times of abuse. And I thought that was very interesting that they kind of that they showed that, that like that's where that came from, was from the abuse that he had suffered at the hands of his mother. And that's where the personality kind of that personality came from, which it started to make me think about other things as well when it comes to these multiple personalities, because we've explored through this show and we still haven't seen, only just signs of that third personality. I don't think we're
They
going to get a
teased it.
third personality in here at all in the show. I think it's kind of late
I
for that.
think episode 5 is the time where you end the episode with, "Huh, who's that?" And we go to the third guy. But to drop it all at 6 would feel like too much to handle at once. I really don't even know what the hell to expect in the finale. I don't have an outline of like who is the freaking what is the objective?
Hmm.
Is it being back alive? Is that what it is? To be resurrected completely and returning to the dead body of Mark Spector? Because he'll be dead. What's the point? The soul is not going to know what's going on. You gotta. I think you have to also free freaking Khonshu because
Hmm.
Khonshu will allow you to heal. So just going and returning to the body isn't enough. Isn't that what she said? The hippo woman.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah,
So
but
like, let's get it done. That's the objective. There it is.
yeah. Well, I was sitting there thinking about that third personality too, thinking about things like we've seen the hints towards it and everything, and I was sitting there trying to think like where does it come from? Where will that third personality come from? And I started to think about the things that we've seen in this episode, where we actually see that he created that second personality. Mark Spector created that personality, Stephen Grant, as he was being abused by his mother, to kind of probably forget that pain and get his mind in somewhere else. It started to make me think of that personality, that Jake Lockley, if that character is there, which I'm dead sure we've all seen hints of. But how and
Did you
why
see that
did that
taxi?
personality
That
come along?
Yeah, exactly. And that taxi thing at the background was a total hint, a total little Easter egg, because
Right,
that's when I was expecting Jake Lockley to appear.
right.
Was there a
My,
post credit scene?
No, no, not in this one. I think I think maybe Jedi Mike is thinking like the next episode, which very well could be, because what I started to think about as we're seeing here how he created that second personality was, what if we've seen Stephen Grant, or the times that they didn't know who did all the killing. What if Mark Spector actually created that third personality to cope with something he talked about in this episode of dealing with killing people? It's something you don't forget. You don't forget the
Yeah.
faces. Maybe that third personality will be created by him to forget all of the murdering he's done. And he's probably murdered and killed more people than were sitting there in that room, in that institution. That's kind of what I was thinking out of it, is like, it feels like they're giving all of that here, and then the third, like maybe the next episode, which like I said seems like way too late, they're going to be like, okay, his coping mechanism with forgetting and trying to deal with the pain and trauma of all the people that he's murdered, maybe throughout the time, like just on his own, but in the service of Khonshu, was creating that third personality. And we see that it seems like this third personality is probably more brutal. It really makes me think even more so about that, what I was asking last week about if that third personality has a different Moon Knight suit as well, and if he has those spikes on his cestises. I think so. I think so.
Yeah. The third personality most certainly has a different suit. If the first one and the second one have a different one, you got to sell new toys. We know how they do because that's not even going to be the first merchandise of a mug that they got. The Jane Foster version with all of the jaded pieces being put together. That's coming too, and
Yeah.
that's the way that they operate. So yeah, and then the hearts where Towerit emptied their souls and they're like, oh, let's put it on the scales. It's not complete. I'm like, okay, that's because there's a third one. Go back to the sarcophagus in that room that was shaking. Go to the room. I kept
Right.
thinking they would open a door to that room. They kept on going to different doors in time. It was a lot like Attack on Titan, if you guys watch that. It's very a callback to the last season.
Hmm.
But they never actually went to the sarcophagus for the third guy, and the scales did balance, so it didn't need the third guy to balance.
Yeah. 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 It's yeah, like I said,
No
is
one's
it.
gonna. No one would usually tell you this, but I'm not. I have no problem telling you this. I can hear something squeaking, like a door opening and closing in your background, and it's like the 10th time I heard it.
Oh, it's probably
So
my chair.
is it?
Yeah.
Aren't you glad I helped you and I interrupted the flow of the conversation? So like you may not do that, again. It help. That's what it's called, constructive criticism. I'm not trying to tell you. Okay. So.
Sorry, my ass just likes to move a lot. Yeah, no, there's like I said, I really feel like this show. How do you feel about this show overall? I did a video talking about well, this question that Rob from Comics Explained, or Geek Culture Explained, had talked about, like, is this show doing the Moon Knight character justice? And I really feel that it is, even though they've changed some stuff. And I think the show is, at this point, it's a little slow paced and everything that it's unpacking. But I think part of that, like I said in my video, is because they're introducing us to a whole new character without anybody there to support this character, to introduce this character in any sort of way. And I feel that any of the little injustices that they are doing for the Moon Knight character is kind of being made up by this show and what it's doing, and just kind of keeping it interesting. But do you feel the show is doing the character justice?
Wrong guy to say so. It's up to guys like you, TJ from the channel Flash by Night, not for me to say. I think it's doing mental health justice. I think, in my opinion, the answer is yes, even though I hold no weight. Moon Knight is being done justice. It got introduced to a brand new audience, and so far, so just above average. Just above average. The last two episodes brought me down, but it's just above average.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way too. I think the last couple of episodes, like the first few, were like we're really riding high on a lot of stuff. But and I think that's something like I was kind of talking about too, is that like they in the first few episodes they left us with so many questions, and these last couple have been kind of like just info dumps of telling us what's going on, filling in all of those gaps and things like that. And I really have a feeling that we're gonna get more of that in episode 6 with the wrap up of this series, how do you feel?
Oh yeah, because I'll have to get that explanation to why he is happy. He happens to be in Chicago right now visiting Dr. Arthur Harrow. I think that they'll have this happen. The scene at the ending is going to be Stephen Grant saying, "I need help, Mark. You need help. We're gonna go get ourselves taken care of," and that's how he ends up there in Chicago a couple of months later.
Yeah, yeah, it very well could be because like my thing was like I feel like just man, I really don't know how to explain like all the things that are happening in the show. There's so much foreshadowing and so many things going on that things that they show us now that we see later in a different setting and scene, and it's kind of made me ask, those questions like, what if this is real? What if it isn't? I think it's all real. I think it's all happened at different times,
Okay.
and that's kind of what we're seeing. Is kind of the fallout of all these things happening, and maybe him not even knowing what's going on as well. Because like just so many things like the opening shot of the show, I guess not the necessarily the opening shot, but in the episode 1 after the main title sequence, we see that opened up on Stephen Grant waking up, and then it flashed to his apartment really quick, and we see like there was the Rubik's cube that was sitting there. It looked like a little pyramid, and it looked just like all the little designs on it and everything, just the lines of a Rubik's cube. It looked just like the pyramids that we seen later at Mogart's. And then you take a look at like his fish tank. You see his fish tank. It had the little boat in it. They were in the sand. And I know something.
Oh,
I've been one of the guys I've been talking to and I'm following on Twitter. That's really nerdy about this stuff too. Has kind of been pointing out. He was pointing out some of this stuff too. How like where we see that in his fish tank there was like the purple light glowing, and then when we seen him and Layla on that boat going to Mogart's, they're bathed basically in purple light. Um, we seen like one thing we haven't seen in the show that we seen in the trailers was that scene where he's falling to the ground, and it looks like he's falling probably out of that castle in that same scene where we see him waking up in episode 2 or episode 1, where with his
first
joint
episode.
with his jaw disjointed. He's like, "Ugh!" It's like the same scene, and I feel like that's something else like that came back in the last episode after Harrow shot him and he was falling through the water. I kind of like like very much the same thing. And like for all, I mean, maybe that was a tranquilizer dart, or who knows? Like, cause we seen the cupcakes that were in that same scene, and they were in the institution later. I feel like, man, like if he is in this institution, I don't think it's in Chicago. I definitely don't think it's in Chicago. I kind of feel like they're probably somewhere else, and probably they're in the Swiss Alps where they showed him, because that scene made me think. All of this made me think like what happened was when we seen him in that scene, he wakes up and he was confused. He's like, "Oh, what's going on?" And he looks up into that castle that was there, and he waves hi to those guys that are there. And it makes me think that maybe that's the institution where he's at anyway. Maybe it's not a proper institution, but maybe he fell out of that window trying to escape, jumped, and that's where we seen him fall, and that's where the other personality takes over, and he don't know what's going on. He's like, "Oh, hey," like waving to those guys. I think that was the institution where they're at, and I think like I said, all of this stuff is just kind of. I think all of these events are kind of melding together in his mind, and he
Uh
kind of
huh.
don't know what's going on, even though it's all happened, and they're trying to make him feel like he's crazy.
I'm gonna look out for that one. I like it. That is the actual institution that he fell out of the sky out of. Uh, that one works for me. I could see that one happening.
Yeah, because it made me think, like and maybe it's like maybe that's what's actually happening, and the institution is fake. Because I thought it was interesting too.
I
Because
would like that.
yeah, in episode 1, like we seen at the very end where he was sitting there beating up that like werewolf character thing in the bathroom, and we seen that in this episode when he goes up to that door. And one of the things I noted was when they were showing that was like everything around him, like the stuff was glowing and it was showing like the hieroglyphs and everything. It looked like they were probably in maybe the pyramids or something, and all of it just seemed fake. And I feel like that's like what a lot of that is maybe They're in the actual scene, and he's maybe seeing something else, or remembering something else, or misremembering something. It's
Okay,
all been very
misinformation.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, Elon Musk should buy the Khonshu to take care of the misinformation.
Yes.
Yo, that's all over my Twitter from people like it matters so much about this guy taking the company. He literally said that he's gonna focus on a more free speech, and people, oh no, what the hell is happening? What? Wait, like, if he's lying, sure, but like let's see what happens. Let's let it play out because what's happening now is that everything has a little censorship under it, and I prefer Twitter with free for all Twitter. I
Yeah.
prefer Twitter where we get exactly the tweets in chronological order and not a focus on advertisements. Unless they're advertising Marvel shows, I don't mind that.
Yeah. No, I totally know what you mean. It's funny too. I seen this tweet that I thought was hilarious. I retweeted. It was um somebody put on there, and of course it really applies to more than just that. It's not just a political thing, but it said soon was it liberals or leftists will be tweeting Twitter ain't real life. And I just kind
Yeah,
of
it's more of a
chuckle at
right wing
that.
thing to say. Yeah. Well, Dave Chappelle said it too, didn't he? I think that's the
Yeah, I
first.
think so. Yeah, I think so.
I say it because I heard Dave Chappelle say it. Twitter isn't real life. Neither
Yes.
is freaking Moon Knight. Moon
Hmm.
Knight and his psychiatric ward. If one of the two are gonna be fake, I would much rather prefer the speech he's doing in the psych ward to be fake, and for the majority of the show that I spent over 5 hours, 4 hours of watching to be the real one. I would be such a slap and such a disappointment to me to know that the majority of the show hasn't really actually happened. But also would explain why, how Conchu was moving the stars and everything in the sky. It would explain why, okay, that's why Thor doesn't talk about it. That's why the Asgard isn't being shaken up even more, and all the other places up in space have been affected because that all happened in his head. It didn't actually happen. The stars didn't really move. One connection to the MCU that happened during this show was when Towerit was speaking about this is not the afterlife, it's a afterlife. There's
Right.
other ones like, oh man, that astral plane. I go, astral plane. Yeah, 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 where the Panthers were all
Yeah.
dead kings or dead Black Panthers of the past. That was amazing to see a connection. I love that
Right.
sort of continuity stuff that ties things together.
Yeah. Well, I mean, kind of even like we seen Thanos, where after he did the snap and he was there in that kind of area with the little Gamora. But then I was God, what was the other one I was thinking of?
What other one?
There was something else I was thinking of too.
Valhalla.
But yeah, yeah, yeah. Valhalla, and then even when you think about like some of the stuff that they were talking about like in Ant-Man, as well, with some of the different realms, and then even Doctor Strange, how there's the different realms of just
The
they're blowing
dark
this thing wide
dimension.
open. They're blowing it wide open.
See. No, no, those are dimensions and realms. This
Hmm.
is afterlife.
Right,
Uh, a little bit of a difference, just a minor bit, which I would consider them all different things. And then there's words like reality, which is what the ancient one explained to the Hulk. You're in this reality, and that's another reality. And then you watch the Loki, and there the TVA were talking about timelines and uh, and vortexes and freaking not vortex. Yeah, it's all mumbo jumbo, honestly. That's why I love just focusing on one continuity, the 616
yeah.
for comic books or the 19999, and knowing that everything that happens here matters here. Morbius, nope. I'm here watching Spider-Man No Way Home. I don't care about Sony and how in the trailer they say from the producers who brought you. It doesn't make that any more real. I love my continuity. And for more Spider-Man stuff, go check out my Spider-Man comic book review, which I have up right now on my YouTube channel, Chillmonger.
Go check it out. Absolutely. It brings up something too. Like we've been asking ourselves, when does this show take place? We've seen we don't see a whole lot of interactions with other characters, other things that have happened in the MCU. The closest thing we've seen was in episode 2. We seen the billboard of the GRC on that bus there in London.
You caught that one.
The Yes, the only thing though, I will say that it started to make me wonder when watching the show today is when they were on that boat going through the field of reeds.
Reed Richard?
No, what
Oh.
all the souls that were going through, all the unjudged souls. Timing. When did this happen? Because to me that really felt like that was that the snap? All the unjudged souls passing into that plane
Oh.
right there?
No, but you said the GRC appeared, so that it couldn't have been from the snap. It could have been freaking Arthur Harrow on a killing spree. That's how I interpreted it at first. I never thought of it as, oh, all these unjust souls happening so quickly. Ooh. Did you think of it my way? Did you consider it as, oh, Arthur's going ham right now on Earth?
I actually I was actually thinking that it was the snap. Is
Mm.
completely what I was thinking because I'm like, why would they go on? Why would this mass amount of people, as many people were going through, be going through unjudged right then and there at that time? And that's kind of what it made me wonder. But then it made me think about like, okay, but what's the timing of this? Because we don't know exactly. But then we don't know exactly that when all of this happened, and we don't know that maybe the stuff that's going on in his head right there didn't happen at the snap, and some of the stuff we're seeing later.
Now,
That's
for them to be unjudged, doesn't Amit judged? Isn't that what the tattoo does? It's supposed to see where you weigh. So for them to be rushing in, doesn't it mean that Arthur isn't even taking the time to judge you? That's what that would mean to me. Or it's more evidence to why it wasn't him, and maybe it was the blip,
yeah,
because
yeah,
Arthur usually takes time.
yeah. Or I mean, yeah, yeah, and that's what's really kind of started making me wonder because like what else could be going on? What other are there any other events that we know of that are taking place at this time aside from the snap? Like after the snap, where we see a bunch of people dying, and maybe it could be something that we see in Thor: Love and Thunder. Maybe it's something that's coming out in there. Maybe it's something that's coming out in Multiverse of Madness, which we know is getting ready to happen right after next week's episode. So it makes me wonder like
Have they
who's
ever taken
dying?
it? Have they ever taken advantage of the timing of one show into another show? Not
They
really.
haven't. They haven't.
No. They also couldn't because of COVID-19 and what the delays did. This is a new era, though. We're entering 2022, where maybe exactly when one thing finishes, boom, on your screen.
Right.
Even Star Wars hasn't done that. The most I can say is that Grogu was healing in a Star Wars, in a Mandalorian finale, and Ray healed freaking Ben Solo around the same time. But those are just things that are similar. Nothing really, in
Yeah.
unity.
Yeah. Yeah. And
You know
it's
Ray's pregnant, right? You know that? That's what when Kylo Ren put his hands on her, he put his hands over there, and that's the baby making force. That you didn't know?
right.
That's
Oh
what
yeah, that's how babies are made.
midichlorians.
Yes. Yeah, so like I said, there's all these little things that they're not doing. I'm just like, man, so when does this take place? Who are these souls? Where how are they getting there? Yeah, I just like the only other thing I could think of is if there's another wrecking or something else was happening on Earth at that time that he missed, where a lot of people are dying. And like I said, it's kind of messed up because we don't know the timing of the show when it all happened. And I still feel like all this stuff did happen, maybe just not at the time that we're seeing it. Like maybe it happened previously, and that's why they're dealing with Mark now because all this stuff happened previously, all the stuff that he went through, and now he's actually having, maybe he's had the breakdown or whatnot, and now he's in the institution year later, months later, and they're dealing with it. And yeah, that's again, that's where a lot of this confusion comes from. But I don't know. Let's get into the chats and see what everybody is saying real quick, and maybe we'll begin to start to wrap this up. Do you have any other things from this show that you can think of to touch on? I think they just did so much in the show. It's kind of like
It is kind of just because a lot of it was unreal and metaphysical, it's all spiritual, all in people's heads. I like some of the nods to the MCU, but I don't really have much to say. Even my review was about 7 minutes long, as opposed to the other weeks, which was maybe 10 or 12.
yeah. Yeah, and that's kind of like even like what was it last week and even kind of the week before. It's kind of like the closer we get to the end of the show, it's like, okay, like I feel like this could end up being Marvel Studios' best Disney Plus show, with how it's produced, the writing, the characters, the interact, like everything about the show, I think is shaping up to be Marvel's best show that they've done on Disney Plus so far. And most of those usually come down to the finale that is kind of make or break for me.
You know what? The finale can undo some of the confusion that I'm having and make it rewatchable for episode 4 and 5. So yeah, maybe it still is the best show, but Falcon and Winter Soldier is going to be hard to knock off right here.
Ooh.
Isaiah Bradley.
Dang, Falcon and Winter Soldier, huh? You know what? We actually, that was one of the shows that weren't doing the breakdowns and everything for. I wonder if maybe we should go through and rewatch those. Like after this, maybe we should go through and rewatch those and start and do a show touching on those and talking about it. Of course, it's kind of hard to hindsight, being 2020, but maybe we need to
No, we
do
still
that.
don't have like a new Falcon movie. It's not like he appeared anywhere else, so
Yeah.
I don't see why not. I wouldn't do it episodic though. I'd do like the whole series in one
Yeah,
talk.
yeah, absolutely. Um, okay, so who all we got in the chat here? I see we've got Adam from A Dude Reviews, Jedi Mike in the building. We got Chillmonger, Rhea is here as well. We've also got Star Wars MCU OG and Robert St. Clair. He must have knew I was talking about him. He must have knew I was talking about. We got Robert St. Clair in the building as well as Reefer
On
Man
Twitter?
Reviews.
Is Robert
Yes.
Sinclair the guy on Twitter who's like looking at the fish tanks and noticing
Yes.
the okay.
Yes. Okay, so we got a duder says, excellent episode. I actually like Stephen Grant now. He's grown on me. Yeah, I think some of that comes from, I think some of
Some of that
what,
comes from your bias, your Englishman bias, Adam. But okay.
well, I think some of it was because he was kind of a weenie and we never really knew why, you know? And here we kind of got an explanation of why and exactly like a lot of that stuff. And it's like at this point I was kind of like, it's understandable. I get it now why he's like that as opposed to the other characters. Why he's kind of such a puss, I guess.
Yeah, they explained everything with him.
Yeah.
Later's Gators, we know why the name Stephen Grant came out of the poster. Everything makes sense to me now with Stephen Grant. Very
Mm-hmm.
well done, if it's real.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. Jedi Mike says, "Hey dudes, I'm bipolar, so I'm fascinated by grief and loss and my brain." Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I totally get that, and that's kind of like I was saying earlier. Like I understand now where they were showing after the scenes of the abuse with his mother. I'm like I get that because like certainly when I've been working out, been on some rides or different things like that, or even other things that have happened in my life where you put your mentally go somewhere else. You put yourself in another situation to maybe forget the trauma or maybe even the pain that you're currently in. I mean, especially like being a cyclist, one of the things we talk a lot about is the pain cave. Sometimes you just get in there and you just keep going. You put your mind somewhere else and just keep grinding. So
Bro,
like
I do not
I
do that
understand
when
that.
I cycle. I the pain cave, maybe I'll think of that the next time I'm cycling. Because I do, time to time. I got my bike on every year. Well, not recently because it's freaking Canada right now. And Canada's gonna Canada. April 27th, you would think things would warm up. Oh my goodness.
Oh
But
man.
anyways, yeah, when it gets to biking weather and Trinity, it's not even I know you're gonna tell me, which is where the mask thingy that you get from the sports. No, it's not even that weather. It's not even like good enough for that.
Oh wow.
Crazy. What does 0 degrees translate to? Like about 30 degrees Fahrenheit? That's what it feels like right now. It's 30 Fahrenheit. Would you bike with
Oof.
30 Fahrenheit?
I have.
You would.
I
Oh wow.
have. As long as it's
Mm.
not Frosty the Snowman out. I have. I have. Because like actually it's really good. It's actually a really good workout to be out there like all like hot, pumping sweat, and like it's like it's some of the better times, but I don't try to do that. Occasionally. It's not something I try. That's a pain cave I don't want to be in for very long. A duder says those scenes got me emotional. Yeah. Jenna Mike saying third personality post credit. Um, Adam says they had a lot of opportunities to bring the third personalities in this episode. They did. They did. I'm guessing post credit at the end of season 1 with Jake setting up season 2. Yeah, it could be. That's if they do a season 2 of this show. I could see how they might do a season 2, but I really feel like they're setting up this character so they don't have to introduce the character and spend those times hitting those beats in a movie so you can go and watch the movie and then go back and watch this if you haven't seen it. And then, like, I'm not sure if this character will ever get a solo movie, a solo film. Um, I mean,
What does Oscar Isaac want?
right, and I think that part of that is too, because like based off of Oscar Isaac's, like their contracts they do now, but also I think they might be because they're probably doing some of this to weigh the how popular a character is with audiences and see how it plays. Not necessarily like if it's not popular that they won't do another season or they won't make a movie, but seeing if they can build on that to make something more, I would say, more palpable for more audiences, and to see if they want to make a solo movie or putting him in movies here and there, or if they're going to do some things to kind of change the character before they bring him into a movie. Or I think they're just kind of getting a feel for some of the stuff.
Hey, oh, you're still reading?
No, go ahead.
I'll sit on it. I'll sit on. Yeah. Okay. Moon Knight got his name because Khonshu named him Moon Knight. Was that something that comic books did? Did Khonshu say you are my Moon Knight, or like did Ethan fucking did Mark Spector create that name on his own the same way Spider-Man made his own name?
You know, that's a good question. Getting into the comic books, I don't remember like the early stuff. I don't remember him giving him the name Moon Knight, but I'd have to go back and do some reading. I just remember Khonshu basically saving his life and him just kind of going to be, fight as Moon Knight. And
Maybe Robert will know. But
yeah,
that's happened in the show. Khonshu saved his life. All these dead bodies around him. Now, in my review, I said this is when he kills Layla's dad. I may be wrong about that. It may not specifically be the time Layla's dad died, but
mhm,
he saved his life. And little old Stephen Grant said, "You're being manipulated. You know that this
yeah,
isn't right," and telling him for the audience about how wrong this is and how Mark is actually a victim of circumstances.
hmm
Very impressive. And especially because Stephen Grant, if I would have known from the beginning Stephen was the fake personality or the made up one, I would not look at him as the same as I do now with the sort of reverence I have for him now. Because they showed us Stephen Grant as the normal one and Mark Spector as the outsider. I can value Stephen Grant's and that personality.
definitely, definitely. Um, let's see, trauma from all his murders. Yeah, absolutely. Reyes says, I haven't seen the episode yet, but just dropping a like and a comment on my way out. Okay, well, thank you so much for being here, Rhea. Hope you make it back to finish the rest of the stream. Jedi Mike says, "What was Second Street? Yeah, you think those folks in the institution were killed by Mark?" Well, that's what they said in the one scene where he was going through the room, was that they were all people victims of his, and he was naming off where he killed them all, where he killed all of them. But now, not necessarily all of them, because like obviously we seen like the last episode, we seen Layla there and a lot of the other people. But when it came to that, seeing that in that episode, it kind of made me feel like these were all the people that Mark Spector had interacted with and kind of touched in their lives, and they probably got in there just kind of a guilt by association kind of thing.
Yeah,
Um,
what does your watch say right now when it chimed?
oh, it was a tweet from Galaxy of Comics.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. Star Wars MCU is saying, "What's up?"
You got notifications for my tweets too, Trinity?
I don't. I don't. I,
You should lie. You should learn to lie, because learn from Mark Spector and lie to me like I'm Layla. Yes, Chillmonger, I get notifications of all the freaking time.
what are you talking about, man? You know we got, we got notifications on those things, man. Yeah, smash that like button.
Myrtle.
Yeah, I hope y'all having a good day today. Man, I don't know what the hell that guy's talking about, man. But yeah, we got that. At least I do, man. Like I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of the Chillmongers, and I definitely got all those
The
notifications
Chillmonger.
on, man. Yeah,
Yeah, I need a
yeah,
second personality too. Hold
yeah.
on, let me get it started. Shoot, give me an accent. I'm not Chillmonger. I'm actually from across the pondmonger. I'm the pondmonger. Yes, yes. A lot of the Marvel shows I've been watching and quite enjoying thoroughly. These are rather specifically the Disney Plus series. You see, Disney Plus. If you're not part of the Plus gang, you should definitely be on Beyond the Mask. Around the 48th minutes and the 53rd second, it's about as exquisite as cinema can be. Right, Myrtle?
Yeah, yeah. You know it, man.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's so good to finally have you on the show, man. We haven't ever got a chance to talk yet. How you
No,
doing,
we've never
man?
had the honor.
Yeah. Yeah.
It appears we're being joined by royalty. An Emmy award-winning live chat contributor is in here. Normies chew nerds, isn't it?
Huh?
I said normies to nerds. That would be Kendall. Kendall would be. He's just entered the live chat and he's saying good morning. A good morning. It's actually the afternoon over where I am, but good morning to you.
What's going on here? Hey,
Anyways, guys, like my videos, I'm at 1,140 subs. I'm trying to get to 2,000 anytime soon, but it's thanks to people like Trinity for shouting me out, putting me on his channel, and introducing me to the new audience, which is helpful and stuff. So appreciate that, Trinity.
absolutely, absolutely, man. And and that's kind of thing too. Like even with your channel, getting on there, meeting all the just the great people. And that's one of the things I like about doing these things. And I certainly don't do them enough is getting other people here on the channel. And you know as well as I do, it can be hard to find people. Not that you necessarily get along with, that you can have good, fun conversations with and bring on the shows and kind of promote each other and hopefully expose yourself to new audiences. I know certainly probably some we've got a lot of crossover viewers, but there's definitely a lot of people that you hit that I don't. That like you're on their radar. I'm not even close to their radar, and probably somewhere in between for you as well with some of my crowd. Definitely, definitely.
Yeah. I just had a couple of Jedi. Mike was in my channel a couple of weeks ago. Jedi Gen 2, actually. I got both. I think I got both of the Jedi's to
Hmm.
pop into my live stream. So that was cool
Yeah.
seeing them. And I'm like, I know them from you. Daniel Fisher's another guy who I've seen on my channel,
Hmm.
on my live chat, I should say. And like, that's probably a guy I got from watching you. And yeah, we've introduced each other to a couple of people. Hakuna Matata, I wouldn't know him if it wasn't for you, you know?
Okay, yeah, yeah, and it's funny too, like thinking about that, because like I've had other people say that, like, oh yeah, I heard about this guy from you. I'm like, and just like different things. It's interesting how a lot of us come across each other, because like yeah, Elliot from Hakuna McChatter, I met him through Ryan from Nerdy Blurb TV.
Mm.
Yeah, always good stuff, man. Always good stuff. Let's see. Robert St. Clair. Okay, here we got his first comment here says, "Hey everyone." It says third sarcophagus could be his mother. I know everyone wants it to be Jake. He has a lot of unfinished business with his mother, so she could be inside the third one. You know what? That very well could be. He's calling. He's calling her mum, mummy.
Mom.
We got. We got Gus, sarcophagus.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of the laters gators thing, like, yeah, I think Robert's right. I mean, it very well could be that thing that he has locked away in his own personal thing in that sarcophagus. Maybe she was too busy nattering at him, and he shoved her in a sarcophagus.
Nattering. Yeah, that would be a good explanation to why we don't get Jake Lockley third personality in the final episode, which you and I both agree would be rushed. Well, it's
Hmm.
because that's not what's going to happen. Instead, there's a swerve. Now, Marvel shows do not, or movies, don't have to follow the beats of the comic books verbatim.
Right.
I like that. Um, I want the origins to remain the same. And from the most part, from what I've heard, and Rob from comics explained was questioning this, but from what I've seen, the consensus is this is Moon Knight. Okay, now we can derail from what the normal storyline is supposed to be from comic books.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree, and that was kind of one of the things is like he was asking, like in some of his videos, and like some of the stuff I disagree with him on is because he's like, like nobody cares about this character, just kind of silly and all stuff. I'm like, I don't know, like I care about the character. I'm not gonna pretend like I'm the hugest fan, but I do feel though like they are kind of really nailing the essence of this character, kind of all of the different versions that I've read, which is really only like the two different, I guess the two different versions for the most part from the comics. Yeah, I think it's been doing a pretty good job with holding true to the nature of the character itself. Like I said, my biggest complaint is the Layla thing, and it's not even that big a deal. But yeah, I think they've been doing a good job with this one.
Uh huh.
I don't. Adam says I don't think the Asylum was real. Asylum is multiversal, says Jedi Mike. All right, yeah. In Moon Knight, they called it ancestral plane, and in Legion, it's called the astral plane. I think there's different ones, though. I think there's different ones. I think there's because the astral would be where your astral projection comes out, like Doctor Strange does, and then the ancestral plane is like the Black Panther thing. But I've never
Yeah,
seen
what did
Legion
I
though,
say?
so
Maybe I effed up, and maybe I called it the astral plane. The ancestral plane is the Black Panther version. Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. I can't remember. You might have. You might have. I don't know. I can't remember. I can't remember back that far. No.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, no. Yeah, I think there's definitely something to that. A lot like the afterlife kind of stuff. If this is all fabricated by Mark's mind, then any information. Oh dang! It skipped on me. If this is all fabricated by Mark's mind, then any information would be provided by his own knowledge base. We saw the vast library in the flat, so he'd be voicing all the characters in his hallucination. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, I can roll with that. Yeah, because and it's something that, like Robert's been saying, is like basically we're listening to an unreliable narrator here, somebody
Oh
who's
yeah.
not quite all there and don't know everything that's going on. Yeah, absolutely. Reefer Man says this was so amazing, so powerful, damn fine television here. Yes. Did we see Jake peek out in this? Yeah, sorry if you covered it already. No, I don't think we did see Jake in this episode. I don't think
No.
we did. Let's see, best Marvel show, period, unless they drop the ball. That could happen. It could happen. I don't think it will, though. I think they're doing good so far. Renee Ramon is in the building. How are you doing, Renee? I hope all's going well. He says, reattached all the Marvel shows in the past few months. Rewatched all the Marvel shows in the past few months, and they are all totally different on the rewatch. Yeah, I'll tell you, like, one of the things I've done, like, I've rewatched all the shows, and what I typically do is once the show is done, I won't watch it or anything for typically at least a month or so, and then I'll go back and I'll rewatch them. So far, my feelings have stayed the same on all of them. As far as like the rankings and stuff like that, and but yeah, no, I totally get that. Like, seeing different things, like when you know a little bit more, the aspects of certain things definitely change from what you've seen before with a little bit more information. Absolutely, yeah. Robert St. Clair says, did anyone notice that movie poster and what appeared to what appeared to be a replica model toy scale in Mark's childhood room? I did notice the movie poster, and I didn't see the replica. I haven't gone through. I haven't done a second rewatch to go through and kind of look for other little things. But that's interesting. I'm going to keep an eye out for that about this, because it really harkens back to what we seen in the last episode where he had the little Moon Knight action figure. Some of that stuff. So yeah. But Jada Mike says Pain Cave is a great metal band name. Yes, it would be. Yes. I bike in the snow. Hell, I've biked in a tornado once. Oh man, you're crazy, Reaper. 6 hour plus MCU pilot TV. Yeah, well, I mean, I think they're getting the feel for the characters, see how audiences respond to them. And I think that's a good thing about the series where they can do that. And I think, something I've talked about before is I do feel like that Disney Plus kind of blows the doors open for the MCU, something that none of the other studios have really done yet in crossing over from TV to film all of that. And I think it's really good for the world building in for what they're doing at Marvel Studios. I think just finished WandaVision last night. Honestly, all the Marvel stuff is better the second time around, at least to me. I'll tell you, I do think a lot of the shows are better afterward to watch all at once, to kind of binge them or watch them as a full movie, if you will, at once. Definitely, I do definitely like that. It feels different than the week to week, but I will say I absolutely love the week to week. I don't like the binge model. Jedi Jen is in the building. Here we are. See, look, we were talking about you, Jen. We are talking about you. Working on Loki next, then Doctor Strange before I see. Oh yeah, Multiverse of Madness. Dang. What are we gonna do, Chillmonger? Next week we've got Moon Knight, and then the very next day we've got Doctor Strange. Do you have anything big planned for next weekend after this premiere?
On the Saturday evening, the widow Ashley, she invited me on her stream to chat about the Multiverse of Madness. Other than that, I have no plans to talk. I'll do, of course, a video on my channel on Thursday night, but I don't know what do you got planned? What do you want to do?
I don't really have anything planned, but I was thinking like maybe I'm not sure how next weekend's shaping up for me yet, but maybe we'll have to do like a community stream and get some people together and talk about all this stuff that's going on. Because like I really do feel like there's got to be some connections to the MCU more than just the loose connections we've got here. Because it feels like Moon Knight is even more loosely connected to the MCU than the Spider-Man films.
Oh yeah.
But again, I think a lot of that is because there's not other characters here crossing over to boost this character up. This is really the first series we've had do that, where every other series is characters that we've known, and they're introducing us to characters. Yes.
Yeah, there's not even a place that we've been to also in a Spider-Man or Thor movie.
Yeah,
technically
absolutely.
London was visited by Thor Dark World and by Spider-Man Far From Home, technically, but like that's a city, you know what I mean?
And the Eternals.
Oh, that movie happened. That did happen. Yep.
And man, like I don't want to start nerding out on Eternals talk, but I'm telling you guys, if you haven't watched Eternals, I know it's somewhat of a longer film. It might be somewhat boring to people, but go re-watch that film and please try to take in and understand everything that's happening in that movie, because I think it pertains to this movie. I think it's going to pertain to Ms. Marvel. I think it's going to pertain to other characters coming out too, because like that movie The Eternals, like not only were they talking about before the dawn of time, before the Infinity Stones and all of that stuff, we seen the celestial tech, we see the Eternals, we see all of this stuff, but the other bigger thing is where they are at in the Eternals movie. We see them in Mesopotamia. We see them basically in this Fertile Crescent, all there in the Middle East with the Egyptians, with all of this stuff going on.
Oh, okay.
We see them at the birthplace of civilization there is what we're talking about. And then later we actually even seen them in Mexico. We're basically at the fall of the Aztec Empire when the Spaniards were coming in and waging a war for, to try to get new land and after gold, right? All of these kinds of things. And that's what we seen. I think that was the last kind of war battle scene that we seen there in the Eternals. And these are essentially all taking place where the birthplace of civilization and also like the Aztec Empire, technically, I mean, kind of the downfall of a lot of these, I guess that certain era of civilization. Once a lot of that happened, because at that point we're talking about the westward expansion and everybody coming to the Americas and things like that. So I'm telling you guys, if you haven't already watched it, go through. If you don't like it, tolerate watching the movie and try to pick all these little things out that I think are very relevant to what we're watching in Moon Knight and probably over these next few movies. I think there's even some stuff that relates to Doctor Strange possibly in this movie.
Well, the invention of sling rings was Fastos.
I don't know. I feel like
you said with Ms. Marvel. You said the connection would be he's probably the guy who made that band for Ms. Marvel, which gives her powers. It looks like.
I think the technology he's using, yeah, definitely, and easily could have made those bands because of the technology and everything that they're using there throughout that movie and then what we see in the
Mhm.
show. Because I think the other big thing is like those 10 rings. Like the 10 rings, like where do they come from? We don't know what they're made of. They're
Yeah.
sending out a signal to somebody. But who? Who would it be? It's got like I feel like it's got to be to the people who where those rings originated from. Yeah.
Mhm.
Like I said, I could like I said before we even went into this, man. I'm getting ready to nerd out.
Or yeah, everything you could be saying is true and things need to be dug into, or Eternals is just a bad movie. Either or.
Yeah, yeah, it could be. I'm not ruling that out, but I don't want it to be.
Mhm.
Um, okay, we got Jedi Jen says, love the episode. Nice. We see Jake when he got injected unwillingly by Dr. Harrow. Was that Jake? He talked differently. I understand. Yeah, I get you. I get you there. And that's yeah, like I said, there's a lot of walking between what's real, what's fake, what's drug induced, and what's not. Because like I was even saying about like the episode one, he's like, oh, waking up feeling like I got hit by a bus. I'm like, man, that sounds like somebody's been on the drugs, man, and been injected with them. But also, even I think it was Jedi Mike. It might have been Jedi Mike was even actually mentioning like it could be from when he was Moon Knight out there. You got the adrenaline pumping through your body, the lactic acid fall down, just all of that stuff from him. Like I get it. Like he went too far as well. Yeah. Yeah, we got Kendall in here saying, "Oh yeah, yeah, Myrtle was here. Myrtle was here."
Oh yeah, you missed him. He was here for a second. And then
Oh,
I had to step out for a minute, so I don't know how it ended. But by the time I returned, he was gone.
hmm. Interesting. Interesting. We got Skip and Tosh in the building as well. Damn, I really needed to do a morning stream to get Chillmonger on the channel. I don't know. You're out on the East Coast too. You might be able to line up a little bit better. Might be able to line up a little bit better. That's one of the reasons I
Is it
feel so bad
Skip
today.
and
And
Tosh? I want to say Skip and Tosh is on the West Coast.
yeah,
I want to say he's in Sacramento.
yeah. And yeah, and that's one of the reasons I want to try to bring this to a close really quick because I know you probably had a long night, probably ready to get some rest. Um, but yeah, Kendall, I don't think anybody would argue about a morning stream. Absolutely, dude. I can't expose myself or back to the slammer I go. Trinity introduced me to Chill. Nice, hell yeah, dude. And I hope I've introduced people to you as well, Kendall, because I think Kendall's an awesome dude. He's got a great channel. He's been doing a lot, man. He's been putting in some work. Great stuff. Great stuff. And he speaks well too. And he's a pretty good looking gentleman as well. What can I say? Um, Chillmonger, the community supports each other. Absolutely, absolutely. Now the Asylums was a projection of Mark's. Yeah, yeah, it could be. Legion is bomb. Yeah, I haven't watched it. His projection in the afterlife, except for episodes 3 and 4 of Loki. Okay, except for episodes 3 to 4 of Loki. Oh, he must be talking about when I said that I didn't like Loki.
Uh,
Yeah. Thursday IMAX Baby Supreme Strange. Nice. Yeah. Give they should give the binge a go. No, no. Yeah. Ready for opening night of Multiverse of Madness? Yes. Oh. I don't know who LaTruck is. LaTruck, but I'm seeing Multiverse of Madness on Tuesday. Get out of
maybe
here.
maybe Tuesday, like 6 days after it's released. That
Oh,
Tuesday.
maybe so. Maybe so. That's what they meant. I'm gonna take it as that, so I'm not triggered or jealous.
Uh-huh. But about IMAX, doesn't having Disney Plus with the IMAX feature doesn't that lessen the significance of IMAX? Like, okay, I'll just see the extra screen when I watch it on Disney Plus.
I don't think
It
it does
does.
because it's the big screen for me. It's the big screen for even
Okay,
though I got a decent TV, like I gotta see it on the big screen.
I hear you.
Jared Dyer says Moon Knight has been awesome for how little Moon Knight is in it. 6 episodes seasons are too short. I like it. And mostly because I do not like watching TV shows. I'm just not into it. I've enjoyed this. I've enjoyed what Marvel Studios has done with their shows as well. Um, even not being into the shows as much. WandaVision, Purple Magic, Loki, Purple Kang Magic, Moon Knight, Purple Magic. Yes. And let's not forget Agatha Harkness, AH, Arthur Harrow, AH, Adam Hughes. Oh, wait. He may not have nothing to do with it, but if he did. Andre Oro, thank you so much for being here. I hope all's going well with you. Connected to Trinity's Eternals theory, yes. Oh, okay. Oh, Daniel Fisher in the building says Regal Thursday 4DX baby. Gonna be okay.
Oh, 40X with the mist. Yeah.
I see. I see.
Bermuda, baby.
Yeah. Oh, you were over that. You went over the Bermuda baby. We can't let that happen again. Spider multiverse of quantum mania madness. I don't think we're getting Jake, to be honest, but I hope we do. Yeah, I think it would be a post-credit scene, if anything, like Jedi Mike was saying. It'd be like a reveal for later. Yeah. Yep, I'm in Sacktown, only about 5 hours from Trinity. Yes, I'll actually be up your way, somewhat close this weekend. Skip and Tosh going to a wedding. If Quentin was here, he could remind us of Kendall's Emmy. Yes. Love listening to all you guys because everybody has a slightly different take, and I like to hear everybody's different opinions. I'm the same way, Jedi Jen, and I appreciate you. Because if everyone was the same, we would only need one YouTube streamer. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, I wish more people looked at things like that. You know, a lot of people, you know, see other people's opinions, thoughts, and they get triggered or they're upset and they want you to feel like they do. You know, I feel like there's this word. I feel like there's this word that they have out there for when you're intolerant to other people's thoughts and opinions. Like there's this word for it that people just toss around out there. So, you know, yeah, that's a different story for a different time.
I actually don't know what word you're looking for. Is it start with B and it's 5 letters?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
What Jedi John was saying, and joking about freaking Kendall's Emmy and stuff. Okay, we watched Star Wars Santa, and that's where I kind of saw the Emmy thing, you know. And Quentin was giving him slack for it. But like, Star Wars Santa is another guy who I've met through you. I saw him popping up in your live chat. I'm like, Trinity keeps saying Star Wars Santa. I guess I'll follow Star Wars Santa. Let me see here. And you ended your stream and you said, go guys, check out Star Wars Santa. And about like the 5th time I've heard his name, I go, let me see who it is. And it's freaking Santa Claus talking Star Wars like a year ago. And I'm like, oh, whoa, this is happening. Who is he? And it was nuts.
Yeah. Star Wars Santa's a great dude.
I would agree.
Yeah, he's a great dude, man. Definitely, I wouldn't even say definitely one of the more real and more grounded people that I've met here on YouTube. Much like yourself, like I kind of know what to expect.
A guy named Santa.
Yeah, like I know what to expect, and I know like you guys aren't like me. I'm just gonna flip out and go crazy in the middle of a stream one day.
But the way he dislikes the sequel trilogy is so illogical. I don't get that one. But hey, to each their own.
Yes.
The way he likes the sequel trilogy, he dislikes the prequel trilogy, and he's fine with the original trilogy. I'm like sort of the opposite, where I prefer the prequels over the original trilogy. And Star Wars ended after 6 movies. That's how I feel.
It did though. It did. Well, actually, right. for me, I'm more of a purist. It ended after one movie. But you know, that's just me. I'm not gonna say that everybody needs to sit here and praise R2-D2 like he's the best or anything, or that really Star Wars is the only Star Wars and everything after Star Wars isn't real Star Wars. And if you are confused by what is real Star Wars, when I was growing up, Star Wars, there was only one thing. When you said Star Wars, it meant Star
77.
Wars. You guys call it A New Hope. Yeah, you guys. But people like me, we called it Star Wars.
Did you now? Did you call it Star Wars? Did you? Okay.
Okay. Kendall says, I've had the Emmy out for a year now. Oh, okay. All right.
I never noticed it.
But you just started showing it off. I think
no. Someone noticed. Somebody had eagle eyes and go. Is that an Emmy? I forget who it was on the stream who said it. And then he's just like, yeah, look at it. Here it is.
Nice. Well, I think we probably didn't notice it for the longest because for the longest time he was doing the green screen and had us in the dojo. I think that's what it was for the longest time. He took us. We're out the dojo and into the
Yeah.
real world.
Oh yeah.
Because when their butthole are too fast, when you can't agree with them. Yeah, I hear you, Andre. Yeah. Daniel Fisher says, can't wait for YouTube gift subscriptions. Yeah, they need to do that already. They need to do that where you can give subscriptions, like where I could even just gift you a subscription for a month as the creator, or you could send one as a friend to somebody else. Be like, hey, yeah, absolutely. Have a safe trip to North Carolina. If you weren't going to be busy, would make the trip to hang. Yeah, maybe in the future. Yeah, absolutely, for sure, for sure. Kung Fu Master Santa. Yeah, prequels all over. Facts. Oh, okay. Oh, it's Quentin that did it. That noticed it.
Okay.
All right. Good deal. Well, anyway, I think that's all I have for today. I thought episode 5 of Moon Knight was absolutely great. I'm really hoping they don't crash the plane into the mountain in the finale. You have any final thoughts or anything you got getting ready to come up, Chillmonger?
I'm gonna tell you that the CGI budget will be in full effect for episode 6. That's what we're waiting for. What do I got coming up? On Saturday, I'm doing 33 burning Black Panther questions, and I got a couple of new guests that are gonna pop up on my show. Look out for that on Saturday, 1 o'clock Eastern time, 10 o'clock Pacific, 6 o'clock London.
All right. All right. Well, I want to thank you once again for being on, your patience and waiting for me because I was late. And I know your schedule is different than mine. And I appreciate it. I appreciate you, Chillmonger, being here on the channel. Like I was saying earlier, I really enjoy having the conversations with you. I think you're a great person. And it's always great to get together with other people who, not even necessarily I guess we're kind of a like mind. But having those conversations with good people, I think just it's always good. You're good people. I enjoy having you on the stream, and I look forward to next week and even beyond. Thank you so much for being here, Chillmonger, and being such a great
Yeah.
damn guest. I appreciate it.
High five.
Oh, did I go the wrong? I went the wrong way. There we go. There.
There it is.
Oh, I'm cut off. I'm cut off.
Okay. 0 for 3.
You know
We'll
what?
work on it.
Post, but we'll do that in post. We'll do that in post. We'll make it match up. There we go.
We'll
We'll
add
make
that.
that match up in post. But thank you so much for being here, Chillmonger. Thank you all so much for being here. You all have a very good day. Have a great rest of your week. Go out, watch Moon Knight, read some awesome comics, and we'll see you all in the next video. Later.